everyone, what's up? This is Chesh from Cheshire Plays Games, and I know it's been like a week and a bit since you've had to deal with my shrill, horrible voice. But today I thought we would go through maybe a good boy and his trainer. This would be Halden. I remember how to do this. Halden, Avid Arcanist. This is 2 colors and a blue for legendary creature Human Wizard. A 1/4 partner with Pako, the good boy. You can play non-creature cards from exile with fetch counters on them if you exiled them. And you may spend mana as though a mana of any color to cast those spells. He says as he just throws Pako onto the piece of paper. This is great, isn't it? So, Pako Arcane Retriever is 3 colors, a red and a green. For a legendary Elemental Hound, this is a 3/3 and partnered with Halden. Whenever Pako the good boy attacks, exile the top card of each player's library and put a fetch counter on each of them. Put a +1/+1 counter on Pako for each non-creature card exiled this way. So, we need to focus on attacking. But I think that also we need to explore a couple of things, I guess, to make sure we can just one-shot people if possible. The first thing we need to look at is our mana. So we are running, of course, 1 Birds of Paradise because bird, you get it, right? You get it? Because of up, right? Okay, great. We're running a Llanowar Elf because I don't know, it's just classic and cool, I guess. On the ramp side, we've got a Cultivate. Most specifically, just because Cultivate is pretty in its full art form. I wish I had a full art foil one, but I don't. But that's fine, so this helps us mana fix for our 3 colors. We do have a copy of Explore, because it's not only just allow us to draw a card, but we can play an additional card, because getting in front of other people in this deck is always very good. We have a Farseek, of course. Search your library for a plains, island, swamp, or mountain. Basically, we can search for a mountain or an island. And then shuffle our library. Sylvan Scrying, of course. Search your library for a land card. Reveal it, put it into your hand, and then shuffle your library. Now, when I say a land card, we're talking about Rogue's Passage, so that we can make our Pako unblockable. There's a couple of cards that allow us to do that. We, of course, have an Hour of Promise. Search your library for up to 2 land cards and put them onto the battlefield. We are not playing deserts. We don't care about the zombies. We're having 1 copy of Growth Spiral. So, blue and a green for an instant. Draw a card, and you can put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. Again, card draw is great. And a copy of Unexpected Results, because no one expects the Spanish Inquisition, right? Shuffle your library, reveal the top card. If it's a non-land card, you may cast it without paying its mana cost, which is pretty cool, I guess. If it's a land card, however, put it onto the battlefield and then return Unexpected Results to its owner's hand. Alright, so now that we know that we're going to be ramping out a little bit, just go over there, thanks. Now we know we're ramping out a little bit. We need ways to actually trigger a kill. So, the first one is Berserker's Onslaught. 3 colors and 2 red, an enchantment. Attacking creatures you control have double strike. That's not enough though. We want to double strike extra combats. So we've got a Combat Celebrant. This is a Human Warrior 4/1 for 2 colors and a red. If it hasn't been exerted this turn, you may exert it as it attacks, and when you do, untap all other creatures you control, and after this phase, there is an additional combat phase. Of course, our buddies Relentless Assault come back. 2 colors and 2 red, untap all creatures that attacked this turn, and after this main phase, there is an additional combat phase, followed by an additional main phase. We have Seize the Day. Seize it we shall, 3 colors and a red, free sorcery. Untap target creature. After this phase, there is an additional combat phase, followed by an additional main phase, and has flashback for 2 colors and a red. That is just disgusting. We don't run a whole lot of creatures. I think we're running like 16 creatures, but we do run a Breath of Fury. This is a weird enchantment aura. 2 colors and 2 red. Enchant creature you control. When enchanted creature deals combat damage to a player, sacrifice it, and then attach Breath of Fury to a creature you control. If you do, untap all creatures you control, and after this phase, there is an additional combat phase. We also have a copy of Hellkite Charger, 4 colors and 2 red, flying haste. Whenever the charger attacks, you can pay 5 colors and 2 red, and if you do, untap all attacking creatures, and after this phase, there is an additional combat phase. We also thought of a little bit of doubling up on some of our spells. It'd be nice. So we've got a double vision, 3 colors and 2 red enchantment. Whenever you cast your first instant or sorcery card each turn, copy that spell, and then you can choose new targets for the copy. Interestingly enough, we also have a refuse to cooperate. So refuse deals damage to target spell's controller, equal to that spell's converted mana cost. Really good on big X decks. But then, of course, we have Cooperate, which is 2 colors and a blue for an instant with Aftermath. Copy target instant or sorcery spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. Cool. We want to draw some cards. So, Ristic Study, of course, is going to be in this deck. Enough said. We want to see people's hands if we want to combo out. So Gitaxian Probe is, of course, in here. We also want to tinker with the top of our deck for when Pako attacks. So we have 1 copy of Brainstorm. I mean, of course we have 1 copy. We have 5 copies? We have a copy of Ponder, of course. To protect ourselves a little bit better, just in case, we do have 1 Veil of Summer. We also have our board bounce in a Cyclonic Rift because we're playing blue, so why wouldn't we play the Rift? We also play a copy of Snap, which you should play more in your blue decks. 1 blue and 1 colors for an instant. Return target creature to its owner's hand and untap up to 2 lands. Not basic lands, 2 lands. Just saying, you can figure that one out. We also have Imprisoned in the Moon so that we can lock down big, indestructible, horrible creatures that we can't do anything with, just to get them out of the way. Just in case as well, for our protection suite, I guess you could call it, we do have a copy of Stifle, because I'm a horrible person and maybe stifling out your fetch lands is fun to me. It is. It's very fun. Speaking of, we also have a copy of Void Slime. Unfortunately, this isn't technically a slime, an ooze, which would be very cool. Counter target spell, activated ability, or triggered ability. And everything is just a horrible mess of a pile. We also run a counterflux, just in case we need to overload it. I don't think you ever really will, but it can't be countered, which is great, so you can just say no to no. Plasm Capture, 2 green, 2 blue, instant counter target spell at the beginning of your next pre-combat main phase. Add X mana of any combination of colors to your mana pool where X is that spell's converted mana cost. Again, big X decks, we love you so much. Trap Essence. Okay, so this is a bit of a guilty pleasure card, and not a lot of people run it because the mana cost is a little bit iffy in some decks, but green, a blue, and a red for counter target creature spell, and then put 2+1/+1 creatures on target creature. We are running a copy of Spell Snare, counter target spell with a converted mana cost of 2. A Swan Song, counter target enchantment, instant, or sorcery. Its controller creates a 2/2 birdie token. Good old counter spell. I mean, because it says no. Why wouldn't you run it? A copy of Mystic Snake rounds out our counter spells. One of my most favorite cards from the old days. The art is gorgeous. It's a 2/2 for 4 mana. But when it comes into the battlefield, it then allows you to counter a spell. So, that's cool. I just worded that horribly, by the way. I apologize. So, we want a little bit of value out of this deck. So we are going to run a copy of Rashmi Eternity's Crafter, which I think everyone knows is one of my favourite commanders, and one of my favourite legendary creatures. I don't do foils very often, but Eternity's Crafter is absolutely... Oh, it's just so gorgeous. Absolutely my favourite. Going with the theme of top deck shenanigans, we've got Otali the Primal Storm, because it's big and it's mean. Just in case we need to recycle some stuff from our opponent, we do have one Dire Fleet Daredevil. It's just a horrible attacker, but you know what? Whatever. Just in case we come across an artifacts deck and we want to ramp out that mana real quick, we have a Dockside Extortionist. Of course, you do need some graveyard hate regardless of what you're playing, so Scavenging Ooze is always going to be the go-to. Speaking of artifacts though, Hellkite Tyrant is going to come in, it's going to hit somebody and steal all their artifacts. So there's a chance you could possibly win off this card. It happens sometimes, very rarely, but it's funny when it does. You're just like, you lose the game, thank you. To ensure that we can cast our creatures and not have them countered, we do have a Prowling Sauropod, Snake Cat, as well as an every bear straight punched. Thanks, Graham. Suruk Dragonclaw. So, Flash, Suruk can't be countered, creature spells you control can't be countered, and other creatures you control have Trememberline, which is fantastic when you're doing all those +1/+1 counter shenanigans because of your little Pako. Speaking of big stupid stuff, we've got an Inferno Titan because we're playing red, I guess. Why not? Big finishes are great. And we've got our backdraft Hellkite, which is an interesting dragon. 3 colors and 2 red for a dragon flying. When backdraft Hellkite attacks, each instant and sorcery card in your graveyard gains flashback until the end of turn. Flashback. You know what I like flashbacking? Relentless Assault. Do you know what else I like flashbacking? Cooperate. Yeah. Ha 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 ha. Sure, that's whatever. Doesn't really matter. So that is it. This is a Halden and Pako deck. This is not the most powerful version of this deck at this point, and I am still working out some kinks. But so far, the test runs have been pretty fun to play, and I'm looking for something that gives me a bit of a different feeling than what I've been playing recently, because I've been playing a lot of top power decks, and then that's not where I want myself to go all the time. Sometimes I just feel like I need a deck that's just like cruise control. I just sit there and I just play it because it's fun, and this is that deck. So, I hope you've enjoyed this. Please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I know you hate me saying it, but I have to say it. Also, remember that this video is supported and brought to you by puremtgo.com. And so please check out my articles over there, as well as Josh and Pat's MTG Bazaar on Facebook. And we actually have a big competition coming up. More soon!